Welcome back to Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage. Happy New Year, everybody. Hope everybody's having a great start to 2024. If you are new to the channel and like detailed weather breakdowns across North America and the tropics, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. And I would love to hit 75,000 subscribers by the end of January. And you can help me get there by subscribing to the channel down below and also press the like button. It helps out more than you know. Looking here at the weather forecast for today, you can see your low temperatures walking out the door this morning. The freezing line is much further south into North Texas, across the deep south, and across the mid-Atlantic as you step out the door this morning. You can see the teens up here for low temperatures into the Dakotas, Nebraska there with the snowpack, but also into the upper Midwest this morning as well. As we go into the afternoon, we will warm up. It won't be as warm as we've been seeing through December, but we're going to still be seeing those middle and upper 20s to the north and those 30s, 40s, and some 50s for high temperatures further to the south for the first day of 2024. And as we go into the afternoon, here are your temperature anomalies just to give you some resemblance of how normal or abnormal our temperatures are. You can see very abnormal to the north. We're above average here across portions of southern Canada and the northern tier of the United States. This essentially is 10, 20, even 30 degrees above the norm for this time of year up to the north, and some below average temperatures further south by a handful of degrees, 5, 10 degrees below average from Texas, Oklahoma, and then east across the southeastern United States this afternoon. Looking at our current weather conditions across the country, it is remarkably quiet right now across the country. Outside of a few snow showers or snow flurries, it will be very quiet here for the morning hours. Here's your weather for today. You can see very quiet. Outside of a sprinkle, a flurry, or a snow shower, really just not seeing much of anything as this high pressure system, real strong across the southern plains, will continue to feed in some drier weather and maybe more sunshine across the middle of the country today. As we go into tonight, the high pressure will drift further to the east, very dry across the eastern 2/3 of the country. And notice the Four Corners region, Phoenix, over there into even southwestern New Mexico, we could be talking some light rain, light snow showers, but that even won't be that big of a deal. Then as we go into your Tuesday, we are watching a couple of storm systems here. We have one down here across New Mexico and Texas, bringing some lighter rain, lighter snow. A much stronger system will appear across the west coast there from Portland up into Seattle and down even into northwestern California as we go into Tuesday, bringing some light to moderate rainfall. Overall, over the next 48 hours through midweek on Wednesday, you can see not much in the way of precipitation is on the way. You can see much of the country dry, but you see the west coast there, as we're just talking about, seeing some decent rains out there, especially northwestern California, and some decent rains across east central Texas here. So the Houston Metroplex getting down in toward portions of the Corpus Christi region, Waco, Texas, San Antonio, some of these areas could be seeing 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch of rain as we get especially into that Tuesday night, and even Wednesday morning time frame. So be watching out for some wet weather down there by midweek. Overall, though, it will be lacking the cold air. So once again, these storm systems won't have much of the snowfall with them, at least through the middle of this week on Wednesday, January 3rd, rather. As we go into through Wednesday, we're watching 3 separate systems as we go in toward early and mid-January. Here's the first system. That's the system moving across Texas Tuesday into Wednesday. That'll be moving further east into places like New Orleans, getting into Mobile, Alabama, Panama City with some rainfall there and a few thunderstorms Wednesday night. That system will quickly move off the Carolina and Virginia coast into the western Atlantic basin. So not much of a big deal with the first system across those areas. Our second system by Thursday will be diving into the Four Corners region, providing some heavier snows for Utah, Colorado, getting into Arizona, New Mexico, maybe some mix of rain and snow across the northwest Texas panhandle there as we go into Thursday. Going into Friday, that system will continue to move off to the east, mostly rain here across the southern plains. Again, we're not seeing much in the way of cold air with this. So again, mostly rain as we go into Friday. As the system moves up the East Coast Saturday into Sunday, this upcoming weekend, the 6th and 7th of January, there is some cold air with it. So as it meets up with the moisture, we could be seeing some heavier snows setting up for the Mid-Atlantic and near the Northeast here. So, and there is some caveats to this, and we'll go over them right now. You can see the ECMWF model, otherwise known as the European model for snowfall, has the heaviest snowfall amounts across eastern Kentucky, through the Appalachians there, and through much of West Virginia, getting into Maryland, and then southern Pennsylvania and south central New Jersey. Compare that with the GFS model. It has a little bit wider of a precipitation shield with snow and a lot further west. So that would take it from southern Illinois through Indiana, much of Ohio there, the Detroit area, into southeastern Michigan getting some snow from this, much of the Mid-Atlantic, West Virginia, northern Virginia, Pennsylvania, and southern New York State getting some snow, and much heavier snow for like New York City, Long Island, northern New Jersey, and portions there of Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Massachusetts. So that's the difference there with the GFS model, just a little bit further north and a little bit wider with that snowfall precipitation shield now through next Monday. Looking at that Sunday time frame, we're not done yet. We have another storm system, and this could be the most significant one out of the three. You can see on Sunday we got another low pressure diving down into the Four Corners region. We have another threat for snow here, again for Utah, Colorado, getting into Arizona and New Mexico, and then that will start to develop and strengthen quickly as it moves into central and northern Texas. All rain as we go into next Monday, a week from today, across portions of the DFW Metroplex. Oklahoma City mostly seeing the rain, but look at the snow shield starting to gather up across southern Nebraska, much of west central Kansas, and then perhaps down into the Amarillo region, seeing some snowfall there as we go into Monday. And these storm systems we have to watch, because this could take a left-hand turn and really start to develop here and bomb out across the Midwest down to a 978 millibar low. And if you know about low pressure systems, once you get under 990 millibars and the pressure begins to drop, that's really when you start to see some strong winds with the tight isobars on the backside and a trowel of snowfall as well there across the western side of the system. The European model, the ECMWF, is showing that from the Great Lakes region down somewhere into the Midwest here. This could include Milwaukee, could include Chicago, down into Peoria, Illinois, and even down into portions of the St. Louis region as we go into next Tuesday. Looking at the European model for snowfall, it does have a nice narrow band of some pretty significant snowfall accumulation potential from Monday the 8th through next Wednesday the 10th time frame of January, from portions of northeastern Oklahoma through much of central Missouri, getting into north central Illinois, and then crossing over the Great Lakes and into southeastern Canada. Compare that with the GFS model, and notice it's really not that different. It's a little lighter with the snowfall, but also the placement is really not that different from the European model. Takes it from Oklahoma up through central portions of Missouri, through north central Illinois and the central Great Lakes, and into southeastern Canada as well, between that Monday the 8th and Wednesday the 10th time frame. Looking back here at some weather alerts from our Groundhog Day blizzard, if you guys remember that from February 1st through February 3rd of 2011, notice it did take a similar path from northeastern Oklahoma through central Missouri, going through north central Illinois and into Michigan and southeastern Canada. We had a lot of winter storm warnings with that and blizzard warnings, believe it or not, as well. And you can see that really bombing out with that Groundhog Day blizzard of 2011 with that low centered across east central Indiana. That dropped some very heavy snows for the Chicagoland area, Milwaukee, and even down towards portions of St. Louis there. Notice in the blues here from that Groundhog Day blizzard, we saw 10 to 20 inches of snow in that large swath there from northeastern Oklahoma through central Missouri into north central Illinois, eastern Iowa, and then getting into west central and central Michigan. And that is a very similar track to the storm that could occur as we go in towards that 8th, 9th, and 10th time frame of January. Will it be this significant? It's still a possibility, but it also could not be. It could be a weaker system. We don't know quite yet, but it gives you an idea that those low pressure systems from North Texas, as they move further north, they really could start to strengthen. You could see some big snows even during El Nino years further up into the Midwest and the Great Lakes. Now let's talk the warm side of this system. Not only will it be producing some heavy snow and possibly some ice though, but also some heavy rains across the southeast, and beneficial rains at that. Notice widespread 1 to 3, maybe even 4 inches of rain will be likely across much of Dixie Alley and the southeast on up into the mid-Atlantic as we go from that Monday, January 8th timeframe through that Wednesday, January 10th timeframe. And that will bode well with our drought. We still have some work to do with that severe, extreme, and exceptional drought here widespread across the deep south from East Texas through Louisiana into southeastern Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee. Widespread drought here, very significant. That will do some good work on that drought if we do see those 1 to 3, even 4-inch rainfall amounts with that system. So that's some good news. The bad news is there may be some energy out there for severe weather. So here's your dew point temperatures during that Monday the 8th into Tuesday the 9th of January timeframe. Notice they're not overly strong. We are in January after all, so our dew points will still be mid to upper 50s, possibly low 60s, worst case scenario down here across the Dixie Alley region. But what does catch my eye, and the concern is that we're going to have a fairly significant negatively tilted trough as it looks right now, according to the European high-resolution model here. This is your 500 millibar mid-level jet stream, and this is looking pretty significant here. These yellows and oranges, that's over 100 knots of winds just a few thousand feet above our heads. And then you look at the low-level jet and the 850 millibar layer. This is very important jet stream for tornado genesis, and notice it's cranking out here across the Dixie Alley region and the southeast. Will it stay this way? It's possible. Could it weaken as well if we have a weaker system? That's also possible. We'll keep an eye on it. But other than that, the severe weather outlook from Monday the 8th into the Tuesday the 9th time frame is a possibility. If you live from East Texas, say the Tyler, Texas region, Houston, eastward through Louisiana, southern portions of Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, getting over into Georgia, perhaps portions of South Carolina, and then much of north central Florida. We need to be keeping an eye on the threat for damaging winds, large hail, and even a few tornadoes if that stronger trough ejection does come to fruition during the early part of next week. So, and then behind the storm system, if that's not enough, we got some cold air, possibly even some Arctic air as well. You can see the below average temperature anomalies across the western 2/3 of the country, and notice the origin of that cold air up here into the Arctics from northern and central Canada down into the western US during that January 7th through the 14th time frame. And look at these temperatures. So a week from today, this could be your high temperature across the country. Warmer and milder for the east, and then that Arctic air starting to move in here across the west. Now, it's not going to be overly Arctic air. We're not seeing those double-digit below zero temperatures, but still some teens, some single digits on either side of zero is possible for highs. And then as we go into the end of the next work week on Friday, January 12th, notice you have those double-digit below zero temperatures starting to move further south across portions of Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba. And we're starting to see more Arctic air intrusion across the northern U.S., especially the northern Rockies, northern high plains like the Dakotas, seeing those high temperatures into the single digits and the teens, and then moving it out towards next weekend on Sunday the 14th, toward mid-month. There is a potential that we could be seeing high temperatures below zero, and we could have one of those lobes of the polar vortex, the first lobe of the polar vortex, moving further south on the backside of one of these stronger storm systems. So that will be something to keep an eye on. Then as we go towards mid-month, it's a little far out, but we are looking at this potential from January 14th through the 21st time frame. Could be seeing that cold air we see out west and across the central U.S. eventually bleed east into the eastern 2/3 of the country by the time we get to mid-month, and that will definitely set up a new storm track further to the south, and that means the snow line will also move further to the south later into January. So if you are a snow lover out there, I do feel for you, and we are getting there, folks. The weather pattern is changing, and going to change in a big way as we go, especially into the second and third week of January. So hang in there, and we're going to get some cold and snow for you folks out there that do love the snow. But make sure to subscribe to the channel down below for detailed weather breakdowns across North America and the tropics. Help me get to 75,000 subscribers out there. I definitely appreciate all the new subscribers on this channel and all of the subscribers that have been with me for so long. I do really appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much for watching each of my videos. Also, make sure to press the like button down below. It helps to get all of this accurate weather information to more and more people. Share this video with friends, family, and on social media, and I hope everybody has a great Happy New Year out there.